Hi, I'm George Nordhaus, and welcome to Monday Morning. This is very, very unusual today. You're seeing something you haven't seen before. You're seeing part of my screen, my slide presentations to the left there, as well as the opening slide. This is all part of a program that I do, a presentation called Tomorrow's Agency Today. And I've been doing that for but I always bring it up to date and so forth. But today I'm going to be talking about part of that, and that is understanding your agency. You'll see what I mean in just a second. But first, let me show you kind of what this thing's all about here from the presentation. You'll see what I mean. Look, these are the slides. Don't worry, you're not going to have to look at all these slides today. I promise you. But I'll go on just page down. Look at this. This is all part of the program. I talk about all the things that have happened in the industry and all that over the years and bring it up to date. And look at this. It's very, very long. Well, I'm going to be speaking in Indiana to the PIA next week, and I'll be using all of this, but I have an hour and a half to do it, and you'll see what's there. It's really pretty broad, and it really gets to the point that it has to be. And look, it just keeps going and going. You say, "Oh my gosh, George, I don't want to listen to all that." Well, you don't have to today. I promise you that. It's going to be much shorter than that, but it goes all the way down to that. But let's do this. I want to talk today about something that's really vitally important for us, and that is to understand our agency. So what I'm going to do then is to go to a slideshow on the Understanding Agency. I'm going to go to the Understanding Agency right now. I'm going to go to that, and we'll get it started from right there. Okay. Now, here's Understanding Your Agency. I hope it'll come up right now. There you go. Each year, you ought to get an offer for your agency so you know your net worth. That's just kind of a tongue-in-cheek way to start. But we all have to really understand our agencies, and if we don't, we're in deep trouble. And the more that we can understand our agencies, obviously, the better it's going to be. Well, I had a number of speakers, and I continue to, on Monday morning, and we're going to continue that for a long time to come. At any rate, I've taken some of the best things from some of the speakers and put it all together here, in a way that you'll understand. You begin to think, do I really understand my agency? For example, this was from Bruce Cochran, who is the president of Renaissance Insurance Group, which is the biggest aggregator in the Northeast, and you probably know them. And he's a wonderful speaker, and he always has his fingers right on the pulse of the world. And he says we really have to understand who we are and what the client's needs and values, how they come in line with yours. Okay. Now, sometimes are we choosing revenue over peace of mind? Yeah, maybe we do, but we really need a lot of peace of mind because great clients, this is a really vital line here, great clients rarely refer you to bad clients. By firing the bad ones, you're actually building up a smart network for future referrals. Well, you know who the bad ones are. I'm not going to go into that because you know it as well as I. Are you writing unprofitable business? You simply can't do it in the long run. Well, the vast majority of agencies really don't understand which clients are profitable. And you really need to do that. And I don't want to sound like I'm preaching to the choir, and I understand that. We also have to have a formal relationship. People say, well, I got a relationship with my customer. Well, that's wonderful. How are you doing it? We send out a newsletter occasionally, monthly, quarterly, whatever. But what kind of formal relationship do you really have? Is it in writing? Do you know what you're doing with it? You got 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 clients, and you know personally 50 of them or 100 of them. You're a long way from a formal relationship. I'll be building on that point later on, I promise you. Most agents don't have a constant contact. Sounds like a firm, doesn't it? It is. With their clients, not even at renewal time. And it's amazing to me, after all these years, that very few personal lines annual reviews are done. Can you believe that? That's pretty scary, isn't it? Well, the marketplace reality is that 70% of the clients that you have aren't aware of all the products that you offer. Those are good statistics. Been that way for years. 50% of those households, they would buy from you additional policies if they knew what you offered. And long story short, we've got to be able to tell that story better than we're doing it right now. 15% of all client households are going to buy some life insurance in the next year. What do you think of that? That means 7 years, all your customers are going to have life insurance. Back to the property casualty. The average household, well, including life, owns loans 7 policies. And the average agency, though, you, me, we, all of us, write less than 2 policies per household. We're missing out the boat there, and that's easy to understand. Now, life insurance, I just want to mention in passing, because I think we're missing a tremendous point there. Most agents, most companies, most households don't even have an individual policy. 11 million with children under 18 don't have any life insurance. Oh, yeah. My friend Cosmo Conti, who's State Farm, he's retired now, but he was the best salesman I ever knew in the insurance industry. That's a big thing for me to say. And he would have people come into the office, and he would, before they left, if they were buying an auto or whatever it might be, policy, they bring him back to his office, and he would talk to him a while. And then he would say, "Are you happy with?" And those 4 words, and I couldn't resist giving those to you today, those 4 words made him many, many, many dollars. He was the top life insurance salesman for State Farm, and the top salesman in general for 13 years in a row or something. It was amazing, using those words. Are you happy with your life insurance or whatever it might have been? Well, you know about the 80-20 rule. I think we all do. Just as a refresher, 80% of your profits come from 20% of your customers. You know that. Your complaints come from 20% of your customers, 80-20. Your profits come from 20% of your time spent, not just your customers. 80% of your sales come from 20% of your products, and 80% of your sales are made by 20% of your sales staff. That's the usual 80-20 rule. Well, it may not apply perfectly to you in that regard, but those are pretty amazing statistics. Let's look at them. How is that in your agency, incidentally? That's one of the things you want to begin to figure out. Is that 80-20 working? Well, the takeaway there is most people understand the 80-20 rule, but they don't profile the 20% of their customers that spend 80% of revenue. Consequently, they don't have a structured way to prioritize getting more of those customers by deprioritizing, that's a big word, the ones that really don't make much difference. The trick is to find those higher value customers and, of course, have a strategy to replicate them. I think this is terrific. You need to take time to really understand what makes them outliers. They're not, by profiling them and also understanding who makes the decisions. That's simple. We all understand that. Okay. So as you're understanding your agency, we continue, and we'll be doing this for many months to come, is to give you various things that make you understand your agency more. Emily Hewling did a wonderful job this is an example of what we're going to be doing. Go back to her, listen to her presentation if you like, Monday morning, on claims handling tips. And these seem like common sense to us. Personal connection, take the claim, confer with the adjuster, follow up 24 hours, 3 days later, or whatever. Website information, what to do. You got to have information on your website, what to do in case of a claim. Keep the policyholder informed. We know that. Make the call. Give them an account review if you want to. It's perfect time for it. What a perfect time in claims deal, because they ought to be happy if you solved it right. Give the advice how to avoid future losses. That's as follows, exactly. Deliver the check personally if possible, or no one is delivered. I like that. Why not? I think that is a personal type thing that makes a lot of sense. Send a follow-up survey for them. Call the injured party if you need to do that. Assign a person in the agency to oversee the claims handling. Inform the staff of the claim. Now, all I'm showing is only for a reason, and that is individual things that we need in our agencies. We just need to know how they're doing, and they need to be written down incidentally. How about a proactive services system? Do you have a clearly defined one? What are we going to do for you? Donna Gaylor, good presenter, she talked about enterprise risk management a couple of 3 or 4 weeks ago. And that's a program, but enterprise, I always heard of enterprise risk management, but never understood enterprise. And what she's saying, that the identified risks are quantified, prioritized, and the most significant reported upward and addressed with mitigation. What she's saying, it's more than just mitigating a risk, one risk. It's doing the whole thing internally. It's managing and it's enhancing their value proposition or your value proposition. But here's the big thing, consulting with clients about all their risks, both those that can be covered by insurance and those that they'll have to address without insurance. And that's called enterprise risk management. Well, once again, as we learn what our agencies are doing, what we should be doing, what our agency itself is doing, maybe we should do something like stewardship. This came from Steve Young with Logan Lavelle Hunt down in Louisville, great agency. And but he has a stewardship program where he says, hey, here's what we're going to do. Here's the policy delivered. We'll review it. This is when we're going to have the pre-renewal meeting. These are proposals and so forth, and he signs it for them. That's the beginning of stewardship. It's stewardship, I grant you, is a little bit more complex than that. But you're not only going, as he says, over the new policy, but a formal, written-down service program. And we're going to do a lot more on stewardship, incidentally, but he signs a statement, I agree to provide it. That's a stewardship program. And so it provides the client with a program they can use in evaluating the services. And then he also has something called a report card. I'd never seen this before. And they give that report card before the renewal. It's my purpose to remind them, hey, I've lived up to my commitments. It reminds them of the value of added services, and they have something in hand. If a competitor comes, here's his report card, and it's nice and complex. He'll be glad to share that with you at any time. Incidentally, there's a lot of information on this. Come back to this at any time. I understand that. It's all archived. You have it right there on AgenciesOnline.biz or roughnotes.com. You can find them both. Come back to it at any time and take any of these things. They're for your use if you like it. More power to you. Or on each of those, incidentally, we always have at the end of these Monday mornings the contact person. That you can contact Steve there, and that's another story. Okay. These are some of the benefits of stewardship, and I won't go through it in much depth. You define it, though, he said. And if competition comes in, you can use the report card as a weapon against the other agent. If the client says that you, the agency, and so forth, CSR, claims handling, gets high marks, then why are they going to fire you? Most business owners think long and hard before they decide to fire an employee that's not doing his job. Same thing with the agency. If the client agrees with his own review, then at least you can use this to negotiate and get an opportunity for, if nothing else, the last look. And, of course, coverage checklists, understanding your own agency. One of the things that we, of course, should be doing is personal lines coverage and commercial lines, but I won't go there right now. My friend Bruce Cochran again, Renaissance, he made it wonderful. If you haven't heard that Monday morning, go back and hear it again. It's just beautiful. He said these, after he made his presentation and all that, and he concluded with these 13 points to independent agency success. He said, adopt to the reality that commissions are shrinking. They're going to continue to shrink. Get an enhanced value proposition for consumers and credit and carriers, just what we talked to you about just a minute ago. Get out of the business of processing quotes, claims, and policies. Concentrate on sales. Access, organize, shaping knowledge, communicating. That's what it is. Now, this sounds like motherhood and God and all that, but these are very, very important things. Consumers want control. Let them control it. And then you do that by giving them tailored and deeper expertise because you're a consultant. You're an enterprise risk manager. And get everybody involved. Of course, that's easy to say, but how do you generate enthusiasm and passion, real creativity? I know we all have that kind of problem to reach. Develop non-P&C revenue sources, and that's so important. We just mentioned the life thing. You're going to be doing a lot more of that, whether you like it or not, probably, simply because it's there. Maximize revenue from existing customers with account rounding. Oh, man, we know about that, don't we? Go digital, go social. Operational efficiencies and scales, we understand it. Outsource certain functions. I'm going to have somebody on outsourcing from Resource Pro another couple, 3 weeks here. But at any rate, outsource. It costs a lot less to do that sort of thing. And, of course, you can, well, you'll know. Anyhow, band together with other agents. He's talking about the aggregators. Yes, we see more and more agents going with other agents. And for all the benefits, and I won't go there now. Bruce has an excellent, incidentally, an excellent Monday morning all on aggregators, how to do it, what to put together, and everything else. If you're in an aggregation, go back to that. I don't know, a couple of months ago or something. Go back to it's there on the archive. Go back there and listen to that one. If you're involved at all, or if you plan to be involved with other agents. Well, we have challenges. We want to make the internet the hub of communications. We want to bring together the best of communications and marketing and technology. And this technology-driven, multidimensional world is going to get worse before it gets better. And that's not necessarily a bad thing because we're just going to have to understand it. But we're going to have to make it simple enough that activities happen automatically, and you don't really have to know all the technology. Okay, here's what I'm going to do with you. I'm going to leave you with this. Survival of the fittest. This is a questionnaire. It's a questionnaire that I suggest that you come back to and print out on this. And it's for you, not to send to me or not to send to anybody. Rate your agency 1 to 10, and then you're going to find out whether you're on track for tomorrow's agency today. The way you do it is on marketing. Like here, we have a current business plan which includes an organized marketing system. Give yourself 1 if you, 10 if you have one, good, and then whatever, a 1 to 5. Marketing plan is documented, tracked by our management system. Understanding of our client base, how many there are, what their average income, 1 policy customers, all of that kind of stuff. Do you have that? And we have an active and marketing growing prospect system. Client data, manpower and time, annual reviews for each. Okay, those are the marketing questions. Communications, internet, we have a website that's active, tracking activity, steady flow of new business from our website, visitors return. All right, technology, tracking, once again, track. Do we have a website that's robust, involved in social networking, search engine optimization, and so forth? Rate yourself. Get everybody in the agency, or those who are involved, to rate them. And then here's the score is. We've done this a lot with a lot of agencies. If you have 75 below, you need help in a big way. If you're from 76 to 125, you're in the mid-range of agencies. You have a good start and developing a more robust marketing system. If you're over 126, on the way to 200, boy, you're well on the way to a prosperous future. So once again, I suggest to you take that, let everybody in the agency do it, print it out, get it to, and have an agency meeting on it. That'd be a good idea, wouldn't it, something like this? Okay, just trying to challenge you to have a good future. If you always do what you always did, you'll always get what you always got. You know that? We all have said that for many, many years. The only problem with it, in this world, there's one major problem with that situation, and that it's wrong. We can't always do what we always did because of the automation, the internet, all the things that are happening, the millennials and all of those things. So we really, whether we like it or not, if we're going to succeed and prosper. But the interesting thing is that this immense shift that's taken place, we're not even in the middle of it yet. It's only getting started. Bear in mind that the internet, use of the internet is doubling every 2 years. By 2020, the use of the internet is going to be 32 times bigger than it is right now. Who knows? I didn't understand that. Well, the digital Reformation is like Gutenberg. It took him several centuries to figure out what that meant in printing. Well, it's going to take us a major time for this too. My conclusion is we can no longer look at the present through the rearview mirror. The future, that Yogi Berra said, that is not what it used to be. Tom Johnson used to run the Florida Association, said this so beautifully. You won't be doing what you're doing wrong, even if you wanted to. Well, enough said. Understand your agency. That's the point I'm trying to get across to you, if nothing else. Here's my contact information. Please feel free to call me at any time. I love calls, and I love to be able to help you in any way, shape, or form, provide consultants to you. Not, we don't sell consulting, but I mean on that, but we'll be glad to do that. That's my job, and it's what I really like to do, and I'm happy to do it. And in the meantime, you can always go back to your email, and you can click on the E&O tip of the week, or you can click on Quiz Flash as usual, and you can go to Rough Notes or Agencies Online and get a full archive any day of the week at any time. So, with having said that, folks, I'll see you next Monday morning.